Welcome to our show, Our View on Public Safety. My name is Richard Aguiar. I am the Director of Fall River Emergency Management and the Deputy Chief of Special Services for the Fire Department. Today we have two guests. They're subject matter experts in the field of helping the elderly throughout the community. I believe it's called community care. Today I have Captain John Morin with me and Lieutenant Nick Silva from the Fire Department. And they're going to speak to community care, community services that we can extend to the elderly. So I'm going to turn it over to Lieutenant Silva first, or Captain Morin?
Lieutenant Silva first.
I'll take it.
Okay, Lieutenant Silva, you have your show.
Chief, thanks for having me on here. So the name of the program is Fall River C.A.R.E.S, and C.A.R.E.S is Community Assistance Referral Education Services. And what we're trying to do with the project is we're trying to get out there and educate the elderly on how to be healthy and safe in their own home. And what we do is we can schedule appointments. From these appointments, we'll send out one of our C.A.R.E.S providers, a paramedic on our specialty MIH vehicle. They go out, they do a home assessment. They'll cover a wide variety of issues throughout the home, and basically they go over and they try to alleviate some of the risk factors in your own home. There's a lot of things that we try to do in this report, and everything is generated from a sheet that we carry. We have a Bristol Elders worksheet that we run off of. This grant, this project is partially funded in part from Bristol Elders. We ended up receiving a grant from them that funded this project, which enables us to actually go to your home and do these things, all at no charge. What we look for when we come and do an evaluation is we do the exterior of the home. We look for sidewalk and or pathway, make sure that it's level and that all the outside stairways and stairs and railings and stuff like that are all secure. We do interior. We go living room, kitchen area. We go through the stairways, bathroom area, bedroom. We check just about everything in the home to make sure that it is safe and that it is equitable for the resident. If you see this slide here, focus on fall prevention and safety. So just to read off the slide, there are an estimated 800,000 patients a year hospitalized for falls. Falling once will double your chances of falling again, and falls are the second leading cause of unintentional death worldwide. Our program focuses heavily on fall prevention. A lot of what we look for is throw rugs that are not taped down. We recommend that we tape them down or even remove them. What we try to do is, if the clients are willing, we'll actually tape them down for them. If they're willing to remove the rug, we'll roll them up, put them in the closet, put them off to the side, wherever they'd like to put them, sometimes down in the basement. And that gives them the ability to, if they use a walker or a cane, it's less of a trip hazard as they're walking through the kitchen or walking through their living room down to their favorite couch or their favorite seat. If we want to put up the next slide. So falls result in hospital stays twice as long as any other hospital admission. Falls are reported by 1/3 of all people aged 65 and older. Generally what that means is that as we progress in age, we see that a lot of our elderly population ends up having pneumonia. They end up with other things that cause them to be admitted to the hospital. But a fall is going to land you in the hospital for twice as long as any other possible hospital admission. And generally after that, you potentially have a long stay with rehab services. You could potentially end up at an assisted living center for an extended period of time. So we really try to do our best to limit these falls in the home. So some fall statistics. 1 out of 5 falls result in a serious injury, including broken bones and or head injuries. Falls are the most common cause of traumatic brain injury. 1 in 4 seniors who fracture a hip during a fall will die within 6 months of the injury. And people aged 65 to 69, 1 out of every 200 falls result in hip fracture. That number changes drastically to 1 out of 10 for people aged 85 and older. So what that means is obviously as your age progresses, your chance of falling and being seriously injured increase exponentially. So what we really like to do is make these homes as safe as we possibly can for our elders. This is a free program. It costs people no money. You can refer your cousins, you can refer your family, you can refer anybody that you want to our program. We make an appointment with them. We go down there. We typically spend about 2 hours at the residence going through just about everything that we can possibly go through.
Lieutenant, I have a question regarding interior safety. How about smokes and fire extinguishers? Do you recommend them to have that? You check that as well, or is that the fire side that would do that?
Yeah, no, so we check them. Obviously, if a smoke detector or a CO detector needs to be replaced, we call the fire prevention team. They come in. They also have a program similar to ours that has free smokes and free CO detectors through their grant program, and they'll swap them out, they'll change them out, make sure that they work, make sure that they're functioning properly again, and we schedule them for another day for that. We do recommend that there's always a fire extinguisher within the home. If there is one, we certainly go over the safety and the tips on how to use it for the elderly in that home. One of the other things that we look for is in the kitchen to make sure that the stove is set up properly, that there's no, if it's gas, there's no leak, that if it's electric or gas, that there's nothing next to the stove that could potentially start a fire hazard. We really like to go through and be thorough on the kitchen.
I guess the other question I may have is, not to get off that subject, but how about alert buttons? You recommend that they get alert buttons, or you guys set that up for them, for the elderly?
Yeah, of course. I mean, a lot of this comes down to everything that we do is a recommendation. We understand that not everybody has the same financial standpoint as some other people, and some people can't afford the life alert systems or whatever other systems are available out there. But yeah, we do recommend that if family is there and willing to help and kind of alleviate that financial burden. We recommend that they get the life alert system. It's just one extra set of protection that they have, that if they do fall, it's just a quick button, and a 911 service provider will probably be there within 8 minutes. Without that, we've seen obviously people, myself and Captain Morin, we've seen people on the floor for days before a neighbor checked on them or before a family member decided to come and check on them. So that life alert gives them the opportunity to just hit the button as soon as they fall, and somebody will be there to help them, usually within 8 minutes.
And another thing that we push is the keypad. So if even though they have the life alert, if we have no way of getting into the house other than breaking the door, at least they have a keypad, which our dispatch would have it, and maybe a next door neighbor or whoever that person can trust, that they can just enter the house with the keypad, the hidden key.
Before Lieutenant goes back to his script, it's important because a lot of the elderly have next door neighbors. You should go check on the elderly. Just in case you don't see them a couple of days or one day, just check on them. I know when my mother was elderly, the next door neighbor had the code to the garage to get in, just in case something happened to her. But the fast story, my mother was 88 years old, and we got her an alert button. And then she said, these are for old people. And I said, oh, Ma, you're 88 years old. But I don't think people know the advantage of those things in case something should happen to them.
So generally, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of them run on battery backups. So even if you lose power, the life alert system will still work. The life alert system is usually tied into a landline, a hard line. So in the event that the power does go out for an extended period of time, I know a lot of people are moving away from the landline.
A lot of newer models have the cellular line now.
So they run dual. They have the cellular line,
Yep.
and they have the landline. But I know that when the power goes out, if you're not able to charge your cell phone for 24, 36, sometimes 48 hours, the Lifeline actually has a landline backup that'll run constantly with or without power, if I'm not mistaken. And they've come, leaps and bounds from what they used to be back in the day. They actually now have systems that if you fall, it detects your fall, and it'll automatically call 911 without you even having to press the button. Again, some of those options get a little bit pricey, and I know that once people get past 65 and they go on Medicare and stuff like that, that money becomes a little bit tight. But if family's willing to help, we obviously recommend that. We actually have a list of about 6 or 7 different life alert providers, and we try to give that information out to anybody that's interested in it. If they're not, we try not to push anything on anybody, and we certainly let them make their own informed decisions.
Would Medicare pay for that, or they don't pay? They don't cover that? Those
So
life alerts.
I don't know how it exactly works, if there's any kind of reimbursement from Lifeline through Medicare or Medicaid. It's something that I'd probably have to look into.
Well, I know when my father had it, it was Medicare didn't pay for it. His supplemental insurance paid a portion of it, then he had to pay the rest.
So you'd have to go and check and see if they were eligible, or if they had
Right.
MedX or whatever their other backup insurance company was, or their piggyback insurance as they call it. But we do recommend them. We do have a list of companies that we would recommend with their numbers and some of their pricing.
How many people have you already helped? Have you reached out to in the community?
I want to say that we're up to about 35 people. Well, I should say that 35 homes. Some of those homes, they live with their significant others. So the total number of people is probably higher than that. But I believe the number of homes that we've reached is somewhere in the low 30s.
Oh, okay.
And don't forget, this project's only been around since April.
Yeah, I know. It's just a new.
Yeah, we just getting it off the
started,
ground
yeah.
and trying to make it work.
Yeah. Continue on with your slides if you have any slides.
Sure. Yeah, if we want to go back to the slides. So this is just a quick chart. This is just a chart of injuries that are associated with falls. If you look there, 35% broken or fractured bones, another 30% sprain or strain. What that really talks to is that once you hit 65, 70, 75, you don't heal as quickly. So even when you consider a minor broken or fractured bone or a minor sprain or strain, the recovery time for somebody who's 65, 70, 75, it is significant. Especially if you live alone and you have nobody that comes and takes care of you, having to elevate your leg or, take care of your arm in a sling, that really changes your mobility in the home, and it leaves you actually more susceptible to falls for a second time. If you want to check the next slide here, actually let's skip this one and go to the next one. So some of the things to remember is that the most profound effect from elderly falls is the loss of independency. Falls lead to loss of mobility, rehabilitation centers, and even long-term care facilities. Everybody that we talk to is super grateful for what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish here. And one of the main things that they always talk about is that they want to stay in their home. They don't want to go to an assisted living. They don't want to go to a nursing home. They value their independency. A lot of them do have family that come in and check on them 2, 3, 4 times a week. But ultimately, they're not there 100% of the time. And it's that time frame where you're most susceptible to fall, and that fall could potentially lead to you never returning home. And trying not to use it as a scare tactic, saying, hey, you're going to fall and never come home. But the sad truth is that for a lot of elderly patients, that's what happens. So with our C.A.R.E.S program, we come in, we try to make your home safer. We try to make sure that we give you the education to be safer in your own home. Some of the things that we bring to our C.A.R.E.S assessments is actually easy chair workouts for seniors. These are exercises that strengthen your legs, strengthen your core, strengthen your upper body, and all that does is helps with your balance, helps with your coordination, and even if you just do it for 15, 20 minutes a day, it really helps out in the long run when it comes to your balance and being able to prevent falls. That's something that we really push is being active, staying active. That's how you continue to live independently. We also go through, we have a nutritional guide that we bring with us. So, as you get older, your nutritional needs change, and we print out information on what they should be having for healthy meals, what they should be having, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, what we consider healthy snacks. And we really try to promote that healthy lifestyle, that healthy living, healthy eating, be active. Even if you're just walking 2 or 3 times from your living room to your kitchen and back, every day or twice a day, all that builds up strength, and all that is going to continue to allow you to stay in your house and be healthy and be happy.
Don't be a couch potato, in other words.
Yeah.
Be
I mean,
mobile.
if you don't use it, you lose it. And that goes for your mobility and your agility. Some of the things that the program does is that, if we came and we did an assessment and we said, hey, it seems like you're a little unsteady on your feet, we're going to recommend these exercises, but we'd also like you to consider maybe walking with a cane or walking with a walker. What we do is we can call up your primary care physician and say, listen, we evaluated Mrs. So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so, and we'd really like you to see if we can get a prescription for a cane or a walker. And a lot of times what their primary care physician will do is say, all right, we'll have them come in for an appointment, and we'll get them set up and with a walker or a cane, and that can really help out. And usually it's at no charge. The insurance company usually takes care of that. There's just a lot of services that we try to connect these people with, going through Bristol Elders and going through the Council of Aging, that as they turn 65 and older, they don't even realize that they're eligible for. And that's where our education and our resource really comes into play, is that when we're doing this program, we're looking for all the things that they're lacking. So if we notice that, hey, we open their fridge and they don't have any food, or they don't have any healthy food, we ask them, well, how come you don't have any food? Well, I have a real hard time getting to the grocery store, and that's why I don't really have any food. I kind of just order stuff here and there as we go. Well, we can make a referral to Meals on Wheels. We can try to get you set up on with that. We also can give you all the times and locations of all the food pantries and the food banks, in which you're eligible to go and get free food and some supplies from there to really round out your nutritional needs. And it's really trying to bridge that gap from people who need services to the people who are offering services at low or no costs to these clients.
It's definitely a great service to the community. If one wants to get a hold of you guys, how do they do that?
So they can call the main number at the fire department here at the office, 508-324-2744. Anybody there will be willing to take your call. Usually they'll transfer you to myself or the captain. We'll look at the schedule, and we're usually booking at about a week out, so we can get you scheduled for a visit next week.
And the scheduling could be any time, Monday, Sunday, day, night. We run 24/7. And even when we do the home assessment, we do follow-ups also to make sure that everything stays in place.
So, Captain Morin, besides being Lieutenant Silva's boss, what is your role in all of this? I mean, do you supervise, you oversee this program?
I oversee the program, yes, make sure it's running properly and make sure the crews are doing what they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Sort of like what I was doing before on the quality assurance side. So now I just bring that over to this side.
Every month Bristol Elderly sends me a list of all the elderly who probably live in high rises or live on their own. So I have a list of their sight impaired, walking impaired, hearing impaired, and it's good for the fire department because in case you have to go to that particular residence, you know what you're dealing with. So that's something we have in place. Is also we get around that. There was a HIPAA law problem with that. We get around that through emergency management, just sending information to us at fire headquarters, which I get every month, an updated list. And I know when we first spoke, we spoke about Bristol Elders. How can they help with all of this, Lieutenant? Remember when we spoke about all this?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so we have a lot of agencies in the city that's willing to help the elderly. But this is a great program right here.
Yeah, so and that's really what we're trying to do, is we're trying to get the agencies and the programs that are willing to help to the clients who need it. I know a lot of people are afraid to call us, because they don't really want to bother anybody or they feel like a burden, but that's not the case at all. We're here to help, we want to help, and we want to get you the services that you may not even know are eligible to you at no cost. And that's ultimately what our goal is to leave you happier and healthier than when we first found you, and make sure that you can live a happy and healthy life, on your own, independently.
It's great. And maybe some of this information we could post up on the webpage, Government Center, or even cable TV channel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where they can have all this information.
I'll give you guys anything
numbers and so forth.
Anything that you want.
Yeah, no, anything that they want.
Yeah, sure.
Anything else, gentlemen?
No, I think that's really it.
Okay. Well, I want to thank Captain Morin and Lieutenant Silva for being here today. A lot of good information for the elderly. And I think if you need that service, please don't hesitate. Just reach out to EMS at fire headquarters. And like Captain Morin said, he'll set something up. And they'll be willing to go to your house. And it's a service that does not cost anything. Please take advantage of it. And thank you for tuning into our show of you on public safety today. Thank you.